Hello, Crossroads witches and other interesting magical beings. It has been a long time, and I had a moment where I was standing here, and I was like, I think I'm gonna shoot a video and it feels like sharing. As many of you have realized, I've sort of stepped back off social media, because as you can see, I have a lot of projects going on here at the Storybook barn. I'm getting ready to paint those doors. I'm so excited. We got the front area behind me. You can see our gazebos, but when we talk, for me, I was standing there thinking, I manifested this. I created this. This is what I wanted. This was my dream. And the reality of my dream, and here's part of where I'm about 2/3 of the way painting her. I'm painting it a beautiful purple with a pretty green trim, and then all the windows will be done in indigo. This dream, so I'm 61. I always dreamed one day that I would have my beautiful little farm, my barn. I have 5 acres. My neighbors behind us over here, you can see between our work trailer and the cottage there is a graveyard. I have beautiful living oaks. I live outside of Charleston, and right behind me is what we've been working on. This was the old tack room to the barn. And let me see here, y'all know how I'm not technical, so give me a second. This was the old tack room to the barn, and we had been busy working on it, and I decided the colors is getting painted, but we've had to go back in, retrench, because we're dealing with drainage. I live in the low country. I live in Charleston. I live on the Sea Islands. It's low here. It's called low country for a reason. And we had a flooding issue as we were in the middle of renovations, and it ended up stepping us back where we had to stop working on the inside, and we had to come out here to the outside, had to put a membrane up it there, dig all of this, because we're getting ready to make one giant French drain, and it will drain, as you can see, down to our ditch. So part of manifesting is you got to work on it. And let's see here, we're going to go ahead and go inside, because I want to show you. I wish I had a before picture. I'm not the renovator person that does those things. And I look at here, used to, none of this was here. It was just one big open area. That door wasn't there. That window wasn't there. The French doors were sliding doors, the whole loft area. I'm in the process. I was gonna paint it blue, and I realized I did not like the tone where I was going, but this is the upstairs sleeping loft area. Down here is the sitting area. This will be the coffee bar, and we ended up having to actually build a small addition, which is what we're working on now, for a toilet, a vanity, and then outside, I'll show you outside the window, is the outdoor shower. And we're so excited about all this. And we thought we would be finished a year ago. We came here saying, okay, we're gonna get this done. Okay, we'll be able to get this done, you know? And it was hard work. It was setbacks. And again, that got me thinking about manifesting. Because we think that, you know, oh, I'm gonna manifest, I'm gonna create, I'm gonna sit in motion, whatever phraseology y'all wanna use. Okay, let me see here. As you can see, no makeup, no nothing. I just came from the chicken coop. I had to go clean it up. But you still got to keep working it, and you're still going to get obstacles. And whatever you're creating, it's not a clear path say an incantation, words that rhyme, say a psalm, light a certain color candle, burn some herbs. Yeah, that sets the energy in motion. But even as you're still working it, you're gonna come up with obstacles. That's why a lot of times we do road openers. I actually did a road opener out here for getting the energy of this place flowing, because I felt like every time we came in here to do something, it wasn't going right. I just felt like, these little obstacles, and I kept questioning, is this right? Is this right? And then going back to, this is my dream. And I dreamed big. I dreamed really big, that I wanted that big barn of my childhood. There's a whole story of when I was a young child. I probably would have been about 10. I was part of the horseback riding world. My mother's a horseback rider. My grandmother's a horseback rider. This is another side of my life, but for a very long time I was a professional rider. When I was 10, I walked into this big, beautiful barn, and that was it. And I still have that image in my head. And that was part of the image of me creating what I have, that I want that big, beautiful barn. I want, the Storybook. That's the name of our place, is the Storybook Barn. But decades to create it. In the end, it's worth it. I'm happy that it happened to me now and not sooner, without getting into that long conversation. It's going to happen when it's supposed to. It's going to happen for you when you're ready for it to happen, not when you want it to happen. I learned that one. And that's some wisdom from an old witch right there. All right? Not only when we are creating our lives, when we're dreaming bigger, we have to work at, and we have to know that we're still going to have obstacles to overcome. We're still going to have days where we're like questioning it, For me, sometimes here, at the barn, busting my butt, tired at the end of the day, It's one of those where I got stickies between every crevice of my body, and I just go, carefully take my clothes off and get in the shower, and I'm standing there thinking, is this what I want? And realizing it is, and I'm willing to get out there and do it again. Manifesting's hard work, and it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and magical hard work. It doesn't mean, oh, I wish for this and poof, and here, like I keep saying, I listen to people, I'm thinking, you got to work hard. The universe is going to crack the door for you. You still have to go through it. And when you get on the other side, it's not all sit up and ready to go. It's just the beginning of another journey. Spent probably a year and a half looking for this piece of property. And when I found it, I was just like, oh my gosh, it exists, because I had done my little dream board up where, like I said, I wanted my big, beautiful, fun barn. I wanted a couple of acres, but I didn't want to have, a large place. I didn't want to deal with, 50 plus acres. We were looking for that, 5, 6, 7 acre type, which is almost impossible to find most places, especially for us. I'm 25 minutes outside of downtown Charleston. Uber still comes, I can get pizza type thing, where I feel rural, but I'm still very, very connected to the city. But all of these things, and there it was. And I thought, it happened. My dream has come true. And then I get here, because I bought it over the internet, just in case, and if y'all are, yes, I am one of those folks. I'm like, call the realtor. I'll send you the money, send me the contract type thing. So, we drive the big RV across country, which was a whole other trauma within itself. We had several breakdowns by the time we got here. I was out drawing lines around the RV, deciding that it was cursed and it needed to be sold, and which was sold, by the way, too. So we had a whole catastrophe with that. All right. It was not this easy, here you go, this is the next step. Every next step was a struggle. And looking back, I'm sort of grateful for all of it because I learned a lot. You know where wisdom comes from, don't you? It comes from experiences, both good and bad. And I got a lot of wisdom, is what I'm saying, with some of the stuff that we had to get down. And then we get here to find out some things that are going on with the barn, and just like, are you kidding? All right. And then, you know, when the idea of this, like I said, it was basically a glorified shed. All right. And us deciding that we are going to, you know, turn this into, this will be our guest house, actually, where friends and family will come and stay here. We also have the apartment at the other end of the barn, and which we use for short-term rentals. And then we have our area. So there's actually 3 separate living spaces here that we've created. And again, through a lot of hard work, through a lot of setbacks, through a lot of things not going the way we planned, and still pounding on it. And that's what, when we talk about manifesting, that's what, when we talk about creating, that's when we're like, dude, you got to go change your life. And it ain't going to be easy. And it's not one step. It's just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. All right. And also, I do believe that what we send out, we receive. And so it's about living morally and ethically in a way that it's your compass, all right? And when we live like that, just as many, I did have a lot of crappy things happen, but I had 3 times as many good things happen. And I hate to say 3 because we always talk about, oh, it comes in threes. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes. But the reality is, we had a lot of good things happen to us too. We met some of the right people. We were able to get some projects, done much more reasonable than what we thought. We met, people with the right equipment, all sorts of things like that. When my husband went up to the town hall planning commission, the gentleman up there sat down and explained everything to him, gave him, that valuable 15 minutes of information with us trying to learn how to pull a permit. I mean, we had never done a build like what we were attempting to do, and we were doing a split build because our place is actually the living room and the kitchen, and then there's the open breezeway, and then there's the bedroom, boudoir, and our bathroom. And that open breezeway concept people just couldn't wrap their head around it. And so, I'm doing, non-traditional living, and then I'm also creating the apartment, and then we're trying to find out, what we've got to do here. And so, yeah, some days at the end, I sat down and thought, well, what the hell? And then I remembered this is what I wanted, and that it's going to take hard work to get there. And that I keep going back to when you talk about creating your magical life. It's going to take you twice as long as what you think. Okay. You're going to have bad days, but you're going to have more good days. Things aren't going to go accordingly to plan. You're going to have to work on the fly occasionally, but you stay committed. And you do have setbacks, and you stay committed. And you do have days where you're like, this isn't happening, and you stay committed. And then you have days where it clicks, and you're like, and this is why I'm here. All right? As we're doing all these renovations, occasionally I think about, how much my renovations are like that updating of your life, that changing of things out, and how we need to make sure we're doing that in our magical lives, and we're not getting stuck, and we're allowing it to expand. We had a great chat. Last night we did a live chat, and prior to that we were talking a little bit about we're the first generation of techno witches, mages, magical beings, all right? We don't have the elders behind us whispered in our ear about, when I was on Zoom, this is what we did. All right? That don't exist. And so we're in such uncharted territory. And I think as a community, we're doing good. We're learning. We're dreaming big, and sometimes we're good at it, and other times we're not, and things like that. but keeping ourselves in the moment present, you know, making sure that we don't become, you know, that old dusty thing sitting in the corner because we refuse to challenge ourselves. How important it is to challenge your own viewpoint. Because I would definitely say, like, you know, my viewpoints, not like they've changed massive, but they have changed. If you would talk with me 10 years ago, different viewpoint to talk with me when I was in my 20s, my 30s, my 40s. Because I've leaned in on trying to improve myself, all right? I take constructive criticism, and I really, you know, think that that was a big thing, that having to learn and lean into that so that you can keep yourself fresh, keep your perspective where it's in the present moment. And so my husband just walked in. I won't edit this out. I was like, he came in over on the side door because he's working in the bathroom, like looking at me like, why are you filming in here? But it was one of those moments where I was like, you know, I want to share a little bit on, I'm not on social media. I took a break. For 5 years, I was doing social media. You know, part of that, I wasn't really social media, and I realized I was losing little pieces of myself, and that I needed to get back into putting my hands in the dirt. I needed to get back into my own personal dreams and manifestations. I mean, I never was like, ooh, I want to be a content creator. That just sort of happened, and still not sure, but I love it. And at the same time, having to step back and be realistic about my own mental health, my own physical things going on in my life. Many of you know that, you know, several months back, my husband got seriously injured. And that started where I just looking at, I want to be where it's important. I want to be making changes in my community. I want to be a part of my community. I think a lot of social media stuff is just crap. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make anything. It's useless conversations that have no basis. And I was like, I don't want to be a part of that, but I also see the reality of the fact social media is such a great way for us to connect. And I'm trying to figure out those two. In the meantime, I'm going to make videos when I have that feeling of, ooh, I want to share. I'm learning to honor that part of me. And when I start, you know, going back into the boudoir and sharing some of my magic, like I said, I did do a road opener here, that anything that was moving around our little cottage here, y'all gotta go. I need to get this place finished and everything. I just finished painting. I will flip and show y'all. There is a master carpenter. So he built the bookshelf for me, and we're gonna put some doors and hide that box so you won't, but he built this. This is actually our fence boards that we took down. The old horse paddock, these are the fence boards. My husband planed them. My brother built this wonderful little corner seat cubby hole, because it's a lid. The latch isn't on it, so I'm not going to lift it up. And I just finished doing polyurethane on them and painting them up here. This is my inspiration for the cottage, is Rainbow Row. And with that inspiration in mind, you can't really see it, and they've got to be repainted. Here is Rainbow Row going up the stairs. There has to be some fun and whimsy. And we took the same planks, same wood, our fence, horse fencing, because when we took all the paddocks down, we carefully saved everything. We put down there, those will be polyed, and then we're using the planks to build an entire feature wall that goes up here. And so I'm really excited about that. All right, another interest in magical beings. I hope this inspired you and encouraged you and somewhat made you feel just a little bit better about your day. And with that said, get out there, Fly those brooms. Have a bright, blessed day. And as always, amen, blessed be, ashe, and a bobo.